and gratitude, and not knowing what to do next. I couldn't be sure I would succeed if I made a move, so I left it alone. As the night wore on, I told her I needed to get to bed, because I had to work tomorrow, and she said okay but just sort of sat and waited for me to do or say something else. I walked her back to my kids' room and told her she could sleep in here. There was a bunk bed and lots of clean linens and stuff in there, and I would be right down the hall if she needed anything in the night. I could tell she was really surprised. I started to realize that I was not being smooth or clever, and that she 100% expected and anticipated me wanting her to come to my bed. And I know now I am not the first or last guy to abuse her in this way, and I think vulnerable people just sort of get used to being taken advantage of. I wanted it to be her choice, and didn't want to tell her or even suggest to her to come to my room. So I left her there and she slept in my kids' bedroom room all night, and I slept in mine. I waited up about 45 minutes hoping she'd come down the hall. At one point I heard her get up and use the hall toilet, and I got excited and almost immediately rock hard, thinking this is it, like it was some kind of porno intro. But then she went back to the other room. We woke up the next morning, and she was so happy. She said it was the best night's sleep she'd had in a very long time. We had a quick breakfast and coffee that morning before I left for work, and she asked if I could give her some cash for the day. Alarm bells were ringing in my head, but my PP was still in charge. She claimed she wanted to walk to the nearest store and get some cleaning supplies and clean my apartment as a thank you for letting her stay. I told her she didn't need to do that, or repay me at all, but she really wanted to. So I gave her $50, and left her there in my apartment for the day. In hindsight, it was an insanely stupid thing to do. I could have been completely cleaned out and robbed by the time I came home. She could have invited other people over, gotten high, or trashed the place. We texted a little during the day, but I never knew for sure what I was going to come back to, so I was getting increasingly anxious. And up to the point that I actually walked in, I was still half expecting her to be gone, along with my TV and anything else of value. But no, she was there, and had done exactly what she'd said. She'd walked to the Walmart and gotten a bunch of stuff, cleaners and a new mop, and had cleaned my whole kitchen, and both bathrooms, vacuumed, and everything. When I got home, she ran up to me and hugged me, and it was like we'd been living together for a long time. She showed me everything she cleaned, and playfully reprimanded me for not having better supplies. She asked about my day, and how I was doing, and we just had a great rhythm and a lovely evening. I remember she asked to cook and I said sure, but because I was a dumbass single guy at the time, I didn't have much. She made some kind of chicken something dish from what she could find, and it was honestly pretty terrible. But I smiled, and thanked her, and told her it was great because it was a sweet gesture, and also because everything seemed to be coming together. We cuddled again that night watching a movie, and this time she started to get pretty bold. She would hug me and run her hands under my shirt, and put her fingers through my hair, and laid her head on my shoulder, and touched my legs a lot. I just let her do whatever she wanted. I gave very little back, even though I was so turned on. I wanted to do more, but as soon as my plan started to obviously work, I began to feel incredibly guilty and like a complete piece of poop for everything I'd done up to that point. The night went on, and it was getting late. I told her again I needed to get to bed because of work in the morning. As we walked down the hall, I started to tell her goodnight at other room, and she just asked, "Can I sleep in your bed instead?" And I said, "I don't want you to feel like you have to do that." Absolute lie. I orchestrated this moment to make her feel that way and definitely wanted her in there. She said, "No, I want to. This bed is nice,